So welcome to our second edition of our election series. Like we did the last time, we're sitting down with most of the candidates just for a short wee chat about the elections. Obviously, as I said in the last part, just make sure if you are a pledger, get voting, because it's obviously very important that we look at the future of the Foundation of Hearts and how the club is run as a whole. So make sure you listen to everyone's episode and look at their addresses on the Foundation website. But yeah, absolutely pleasure to be joined by Claire Hammond today. So how are we, Claire? You all right?
Yes, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. It's an absolute pleasure. So thanks for coming on as well. I know you're we're the worst for it in this podcast. We have an opinion about everything, and actually having the step up to go for the foundation of board, it takes a lot. So big up to that, because I couldn't do it. So that's what but yeah, no, nice one. Obviously we're just going to go through as we did in terms of the elections themselves, talk about what you're going to bring to the table, where you think the foundation can go. But for people that don't know Claire, do you want to just give you a wee introduction to yourself, and just your journey with Hearts and everything like that, I suppose.
Yeah, so journey with Hearts, I guess I've been a Hearts fan for about 27 years, I think. Season ticket holder, I know everybody always says that. And mainly got into it through my partner's been a Jambo forever, and my son, who I mentioned in my election address, sadly passed away, but he was a huge Jambo as well. So with him growing up, I just ended up kind of getting drawn into Hearts at first and then football in general. So I watch all the football now. I'm actually the worst one in our house for watching matches and knowing really obscure matches that are on different channels. And so I guess that's how I came to support Hearts. And it's just grown over the years, to be honest. It's clearly a roller coaster for all of us. Sometimes I hate football, but mostly I just love it. I've grown to love everything about it. So not just sometimes the football on the pitch, but also everything that surrounds it. So the kind of I guess the politics, the relationships, the dynamics between, when a different manager comes in, the transfer windows, I love them. And then just going to the game, going to Tynecastle, just you can't beat it really. Once you've got it in you, I don't think you ever lose it. So that's kind of how I ended up being a Hearts fan. In terms of the foundation, I joined the foundation as a member when it started. Always felt hugely proud of being in it, and also strangely protective of the whole thing from the beginning. I just felt like it was so important that we had it. It was so precious to everybody, and I always made sure I, shared every single tweet. And so I feel like I've been on kind of a journey with the foundation. And then a year ago, I was asked if I would be interested in just volunteering within the marketing team, which is just a great group of people who love the Foundation of Hearts, love Hearts, and just spend their time coming up with hopefully ideas that we can kind of bring to the table, and then working on projects and things that we can launch, all with the aim of improving the communication, which I know is still a huge thing and isn't right yet, but we are working on it. But also engaging with the members that we've got, but trying to attract new ones. So a lot of them are kind of my age and above. So we would like younger people to kind of get involved and join in, so that things are kind of more secure down the line. We're doing really well just now. We've got a lot of members. Most people have stayed really, really loyal to the foundation through thick and thin, actually, on the pitch. Absolutely. And a lot of people are happy to be in it just because it's the right thing to do and it feels right. Other people, I think, have maybe joined and then left. They've maybe had a difficult period with Hearts, and they've kind of, they've got a unique opportunity, I guess, to kick the club when they're not happy, that a lot of other fans don't have. And it can be a knee-jerk reaction to maybe leave, but nearly everybody comes back, and not very many people actually leave, which is pretty amazing, given that we have been on a roller coaster for a number of years. So I've been volunteering for the last year and just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was meant to be one meeting a month. Most days I'm doing something for the foundation, but it's it's been great. It's been really good.
That's brilliant. As you say, it's one of those things that most fan bases don't have that sort of reaction thing, but I think it's most important. Like I will always say, regardless of what's going on, I'm still paying however much it paid a month, and I think people should be the same, because at the end of the day, it's our club, and we're all have our part to play in it, don't we? So
and it's amazing actually how few people ever do that. It's brilliant, really, but you can understand it.
Oh, totally, absolutely, because as we say, it is a roller coaster, and we go through absolutely every emotion under the sun. And as you've said, you've listened to this podcast, you'll know fine well that we are all miserable or positive, depending on week to week. Not very positive, to be honest with you, but aye, that's absolutely it. But yeah, that's all great to hear, and obviously your experience with the foundation as well. You'll know exactly what your sort of plans are as well. So even if you just wanted to do a wee short sort of go over how you see the foundation going, how you can be involved, and what your input would be.
Yeah, so I think if I were to be elected on the board, and actually regardless, I'll be in the marketing group if I was on the board. If I'm not, I'll still be in the marketing group. So a lot of it will be stuff that I would deliver at either level or both, I guess. But ultimately, so I think, I can't not mention the communication. It's the one thing everybody says, and we all know it needs improved. So that would be one area. For me, I feel that would be quite good on a face-to-face basis. So kind of toying with the idea, and obviously I have to make sure I can kind of get it past various stages, but with having maybe like a monthly meetup in somewhere like the 1874, where there's people from the foundation there, but also members can just drop in. You can hit us with questions, queries, you can give us ideas. I know already that people have come to me. I've been at functions recently at Hearts, and people have come up and said, I've got an idea for the foundation, and that's absolutely brilliant. So more chances for them to come and do that in, face to face. I know the marketing group are working on sort of forums and things like that as well. So there'll be lots of different avenues. Not everybody wants to send an email or to engage on social media or to do face-to-face. So as many options as we can give for people to come and speak to us. The other thing I think is most people join the foundation because they just get it and they've been in from day one and they wouldn't have had it any other way. But there are some people who didn't join till later. There's others who still haven't joined. There's a lot of fans that are maybe season ticket holders or regular match goers, but they've just never joined the foundation, and they might never plan to. And I think these are the people that, whilst looking after the members we've got, we need to do more to attract more members, because the more people we've got, the stronger we are as a foundation, the more money comes in, the money goes directly to the club, so it's win-win really. And I think for me, as I say, I don't think people are looking for anything back from being a member, but I feel that one of the ways we can do that is to have exclusive events where you can only come along if you're in the foundation. So we did one with Stephen Naismith, which was a brilliant event in the Gorgie Suite hosted by the foundation, and it was a Q&A, and results were just starting to improve at the time, so it was quite good timing. But he was able to do a full presentation on their tactics, their training, and then question and answer session at the end, and it was a brilliant night. It was a great way for him to get a bit closer to us. It created a lot of buzz. People were talking about it on Kickback. And for me, it makes the members feel like they got something special just for being a member. But also if people are talking about it and their friends are saying, oh, how did you get to go to that? Well, actually, if you join. So more of that would be my plan. I'm going to be launching something called Trusted Voices in the new year. Couldn't really launch it because of the election. So it's kind of it'll be probably January. And that's partly about, again, creating a community of people who are related to the club, so legends, former players, managers, current players as well. Also high-profile Hearts fans, so we've got sports people, actors, that kind of thing, all who are interested in Hearts, but also who back the foundation of Hearts and are willing to lend us their voice, basically, because, I can try and engage with young people or a certain sector of our community, but I'm only one voice. The trusted voices have got a certain level of kind of stature where if we can get them involved, whether that be events, content for social media, as I said, the kind of exclusive meet and greet type things, then they can help us on that as well. And it'll be a real community where they can actually they'll have each other, which is quite a unique community for those guys because they're the kind of well-known faces. But also for the ones who like to spend time with fans and kind of reminisce and all of that stuff, then it's going to be a space for that to happen. So it's quite exciting.
That sounds really cool, actually. Yeah, it's one of those things you didn't really sort of think about. You probably see whoever you see at the games each week or whatever, and the same faces. But having that sort of outlook, I really like that idea, to be honest. So
and to really look after them to an extent as well. Not that they need it, but every single person that I've asked, everyone without fail has said yes before I've even explained what I'm asking. I've said, I want to ask if you would help, and they've went, yes, what do you need? And that's been incredible. So for me, I think the foundation's in a kind of well placed to kind of look after them a little bit as well, and kind of just give them a space to come and meet fans if they like that, and they won't all like it.
I can imagine, but no, I really like that idea of sort of having me open sessions and chatting. I'm one of these people that, as much as I tweet occasionally and stuff, I'm not big for social media as such, and then even an email, I'm struggling to read it. So an in-person thing, it's probably a lot better to sort of just chat and see what, make some suggestions. And there's so many people within the foundation that suggestions are probably a good thing, aren't they? And
definitely.
Some people just prefer it when you speak face-to-face type thing and know their voice is heard that way, I suppose, rather than not knowing if an email's answered or whatever as well. But no, that's really cool. Obviously you've seen the foundation grow, being pledging since you have. You spoke about the communication. Is there anything else you would think should be a goal, or any improvements that you feel should be sort of looked at?
I think we need to be communicating more regularly and not communicating just for the sake of it. So making sure that we've got something to actually communicate, whether that's going out for feedback or letting you know what we've been up to in the marketing team, what the board's up to. All of that I think is really important. But also I think that you can let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And I think sometimes we've kind of maybe had something to communicate, but there was a tech issue or something else was coming out first, or the results were bad. And so you're trying to gauge when's the right time. And sometimes you just need to, some communication is better than none. It's when there's a vacuum, people fill it, and nobody's happy when it's like that. So I think just to be more proactive.
I get you. But the Hearts fans, as all football fans, are quite fickle, myself included. So, as you say, there's no time like sort of just doing it, so I suppose, in a sense, because I feel it's probably the worst job in the world when you've got something to communicate and you're on however many games without a win or whatever. It must be so difficult, to be honest, because you know what social media is like as well. So
and you don't want to kind of poke people when they're hurting anyway, but also there's a balance, I think, to be found. It's just finding it.
No, I agree. And then obviously you spoke about it as well in terms of the growth. Is how do we grow? Is it ultimately down to the communication, or are you?
I think, to be honest, so I think the people who haven't signed up yet, we're not just going to get them by keeping doing what we've been doing. I think we've got the people that just wanted to do it because it was just instinct. And that's brilliant, and they've stayed, and it's amazing. To get the kind of the next generation age-wise, but also, more women, more diverse people joining up, people further afield. We will need to kind of tailor communication to different people, and hopefully I think using the trusted voices, they're all from a range of backgrounds and ages actually. So different people will hear the message from different kind of trusted voices. And then I just think it's about giving people a reason to be involved. So it's not too late to join. It's still a thing. We still need it. There's probably some Hearts fans who think it's done and dusted and it's not even relevant anymore, but it's really important. And I just think little things like events that might just make you feel that wee bit rewarded And as I say, you're sitting next to somebody and they ask you, well, how did you get to go to that? There is a bit where, you know, you might get another kind of group of people who'll go, oh, I quite fancy going to these events, I'll join up. And it doesn't matter why they join. Do you know, if
yeah.
there's no kind of judgment around, well, why didn't you join at the start? Or people have money problems as well. It's a difficult time for people, so it has to be right. And the right time's kind of whenever it's right for each individual.
Absolutely, and I agree with you completely, because obviously we're at, what is it, 9,000 pledgers, and you've got, what, 15,000, 16,000 season ticket holders. There is an untapped market, and it must be one of those weird things. You're like, how do you actually, because they're clearly spending money for Hearts, they probably put loads into it, and it's just how do you then get to that next stage, isn't it?
Yeah, we are the best fans for supporting Hearts, the foundation, Big Hearts. We really are. So it's hard to go out and ask for more, but I think if people can see the reason, then it's an important thing to do if you can afford it.
Absolutely. No, that's brilliant. I think we've pretty much covered everything, Claire. You got anything else you would like to add or anything like that at all?
I guess, what would be your idea? Now's as good a time as any to ask you. What do you think we could do better, other than communication, I guess?
To be honest, it probably leads to a bit of communication, but I think, as I said myself, and I'm probably a bit biased in terms of, but stuff like this is quite good, and I would rather listen to someone from the board of foundation on a forum like this, or a video or something like that, rather than reading an email that I'm probably going to go unread for about a month or something without realising, and it's one of those things. And I think there's plenty of mediums within the sort of social media aspect, or even the podcasts and stuff like that, there's plenty of places to have a voice. And I agree. I think it ultimately comes down to communication. I'm one of these people who have pledged since I was able, and have done for it since. But I was speaking to a boy at work today, actually. I said this to Paul when we were on his, so sorry for repeating for people listening. But boy at work, 22-year-old, he said, oh, I don't see the point in pledging. And I was just like, what? How? And that was just me saying, oh, I'm doing these interviews tonight. And he was just, I just didn't get it. But I suppose there's a difference in age or whatever. I don't know. Yeah.
I think what's missing maybe sometimes with younger people is that they never felt that feeling of dread when we were so close to, and whilst you don't want to go back and look back all the time at how close we came to losing the club, there is an element where we've probably, if you've lived through that, you've got that feeling in you, and you know how close it came. So there's a balance there, I guess, as well, about how it's important and why it's important, without kind of looking back the way all the time, and kind of looking more towards the future. Yeah,
I think it's probably it's been there 10 years now, I suppose. So we probably need to look at that next step of how do we actually go, well, this is what the foundation does. So that's one thing I think. But it isn't just that we've saved the club, but it needs to be a bit move up to that next level. But again, this is why I like the idea of forums. I would probably never say that to anyone in my life. So I like it, Claire. So no, I appreciate that as well. I've had a voice tonight as well. That's good. But no, anything else? If not, you got anything? Sorry.
No, I don't think so.
No. Cool. Well, if anyone hasn't voted yet, obviously it's open 1st of December, was that right? Is that when it closed?
Yeah, that's right.
Voting closes on the 1st of December, so check your emails for your links to vote. If you've got any questions for Claire, let me know. I can post it to Claire. And yeah, thanks again for coming on and giving us your time tonight as well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.